The Browns dropped preseason week 2 to the Vikings 27-12 in a game that I don't want anyone to overreact to. I don't know how clear I can make it when I say that's not the 2024 Browns. Like, the guys on the field are all fighting for the 53rd spot on the roster for the most part, with one or two exceptions and practice squad spots. So that's why I don't get panicked over how the team looks in the preseason. Browns fans should know better than anyone else that preseason wins do not translate to regular season wins, and the same should apply to losses. But here are the final stats from the Browns preseason loss. Nick Mullins, probably the player of the game for both teams. He was kind of carving up that Browns defense to open up the game and went 135 yards and one touchdown against primarily all second, but even some third stringers for the Browns defense. There were some good spots like Shelby Harris. We saw him play. He was one of the few actual impactful players, meaningful guys that even suited up for this game. But probably the lone bright spot, I would say, for the Browns, and I don't think the stats actually do it justice, but D'Onta Foreman, 10 carries, 18 yards, one touchdown. His yardage and carries started to ruin his average because he was running behind, I don't even know, I think CFL would be a disservice to describe how deep the Browns had to go at offensive tackle. James Hudson, who started off at right tackle, eventually switched to left tackle. He suffered an ankle injury. No update on him. Akeem Adeniji suffered I believe, knee injury after trying to tackle a Vikings player following an interception. But D'Onta Foreman was probably one of the more impactful guys in the game altogether. It was our first look at him. And with Nick Chubb still on the PUP list, as we get closer and closer to week 1, don't be surprised if you see D'Onta Foreman really push Jerome Ford for the amount of carries they each get in week 1 against the Cowboys. So keep an eye on Foreman. Another receiver that jumped out to me, Jamari Thrash. He continues to make some really good plays as a rookie. 3 grabs for 25 yards. I think he's going to be a lock to make this roster as the Browns wide receiver competition continues to get stiffer and stiffer between David Bell, Jalen Darden, James Prochet for special teams. So definitely some fun battles going on for wide receiver 6. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this was a preseason game, and it showed through and through. The Browns played third and fourth stringers for the most part. No starters played really at all. You want to count Devin Bush, okay. But no, it was all backups, and even a lot of the backups didn't play. I mean, nearly 40 guys did not suit up for the Browns. So these are not games that you should make big deals out of. I know that it's a game, but I cannot express enough how little emphasis I place in the outcome of this preseason game when there's not a single starter on the field for the Browns. It's not the 2024 Browns. It's the practice squad playing against the Vikings practice squad. So, Vikings, they had some really good moments defensively against Tyler Huntley in the second half. I don't think Tyler Huntley is going to be here much longer. I feel like the Browns know that DTR is their QB3. I wouldn't be surprised if they move on from Huntley as soon as tomorrow so that he has an opportunity to go sign somewhere else and maybe suit up for them in the final game of the preseason. So keep an eye on that. But to me, it appears that DTR has separated himself. Huntley had some bad picks today. I mean, DTR wasn't perfect either. It wasn't as good as he probably was last week. But Huntley going 14 for 20, 135 yards, 2 interceptions. It's just likely that the Browns go with Dorian Thompson-Robinson as their third quarterback, who was 13 for 17 for 126 yards. His one interception was a tip pass from Jamari Thrash, so I didn't get a good enough look at it to know who to assign blame to, if it was just a really good play by the defender and unlucky for DTR, or if that's something Thrash should have caught. So I think if you're wondering how the QB3 battle is shaping up, it's really favoring DTR. Plus, being a fifth-round draft pick last year, in the back of your head, that's got to factor in a little bit when making the decision. Also, I didn't know the Browns had the next white Randy Moss. Giovanni Ricci, the fullback, 4 grabs, 32 yards out of nowhere. Unfortunately, he suffered a knee injury, missed the entire second half, but that was kind of a pleasant surprise that I wasn't expecting at all. So that was cool. That kind of got us through a little bit of a sleeper of a game. Offensive tackle is an issue. Now, the good news is these aren't the starters. The bad news is the starters are still on the PUP list. Jed Wills and Jack Conklin. So it is important to watch James Hudson and Jermaine Ifedi. Whereas if we're talking about the backup, like wide receiver stinking, okay, the good news is those aren't the starters. But as of now, I think James Hudson is on a path to start week 1 at left tackle. And he was not very impressive. He suffered an ankle injury. So the Browns, I think, are going to be shopping for offensive tackles. I think they're going to try and bring someone in, hold them over until Wills and or Conklin return, which, by the way, what's going on with them? I feel like we were, I wouldn't say led to believe, but I think collectively everyone thought based on when Conklin got hurt last year early in the season and the type of injury Wills sustained, and we seeing him throughout the spring a little bit, that they would not be on the PUP list going into week 3 of the preseason. Like, that surprises me. So I'm starting to get concerned because we're now no longer just like 6 weeks away from week 1. No, it's creeping up on us. It's 3 weeks away. So the Browns need to figure out what their plan is at offensive tackle now. I don't want them to try and, sit on their hands and hope that one of the 2 injured guys comes back soon. Really quickly, though, I do want to give a quick shout-out to our friends at Fanatics who have an awesome deal right now where if you want to get this David Njoku jersey, 25% off, all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/Njoku. So put that link in, and you'll get this David Njoku jersey awaiting you for 25% off. You're not going to find a better deal like that for a jersey this close to the season. So go to chatsports.com/Njoku. But just to put a bow on the Browns offensive line conversation, like Hudson and Adeniji are both, injured. Your only option really is Jermaine Ifedi or a free agent. Like, I don't think there is anyone else on this roster you trust. Michael Dunn a left tackle? Of course not. Like, do you want to try DeJuan Jones at left tackle and try to place one of your guards at right tackle? Or place one of your guards at right guard and kick Teller to tackle? Like, are you going to get that creative for week 1? Unlikely. So the Browns, from this preseason game, I don't think they showed us anything that requires like any big, strong reaction. Just hope that they can get healthy at offensive tackle. And Deontay Foreman showing us some really positive stuff going into the final preseason game, which, by the way, will be next Saturday in Seattle, 10 p.m. Eastern time kickoff. Yeah, that sucks. Now, I'm going to be at my grandma's 80th birthday, so I don't believe I'll be having a watch party like I always do. Nanny would be a little upset if the computer came out for a watch party, but if she goes to bed early, you might sneak one in. So TBD a little bit on that front. But make sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't miss a single thing when it comes to the Browns. All season long, all year long. We always have a blast here, and you're not going to want to miss it. So hit the sub button down below and let me know what your grade is so far for the Browns through 2 preseason games. They're 0-2. Losses to I already forgot who they lost to last week. The Packers and the Vikings. So how would you grade the Browns so far? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know. I would give them like a C-, D+, but I'm grading the backups. That's not something that I think should apply to the starters, and that's who represents the 2024 Cleveland Browns. All right, we'll let you guys get on with the rest of your Saturday night. Appreciate everyone for hanging out with us. Go Brownies, and we'll see you all later.